The coronavirus pandemic is impacting all levels of baseball, whether it's life in the minor leagues or players in high school or college who were counting on this spring to reach the next level. Breland Moore sat down with former 8-year minor leaguer Nick Rickles to talk about the state of baseball and his advice for players that are impacted.
Do you think that the MILB and the parent clubs need to do more in this time to support their athletes?
So I think there's a little disconnect in the understanding, too, of Major League, Minor League Baseball. So when it comes to specific minor league baseball cities, those are like basically contracted out. So the actual minor league cities can't do much for the players. But from a major league player standpoint, or major league, the company basically, I would think from them to look at their employees and say, okay, there's say not even just the top 100 prospects, just minor league baseball as a whole. They're going to make me a substantial amount of money one day. Why wouldn't you take care of them now, knowing that it's going to show good faith when somebody has time to become a free agent or goes to arbitration or trade talks or anything? I mean, I always joke in life, it's not, what you know, it's who you know. Well, for me, that's what got me through minor league baseball. I had connections where I got released. I was a free agent. I would make a phone call and say, hey, coach, I played for you 3 years ago. Help me out. And I think Major League Baseball has a disconnect of understanding that, minor league baseball players and Major League Baseball players are actually one and the same. One was the other at one point. One has the potential to be the other at one point. But I just don't. They know the power is in the money, and they know that players aren't going to walk away from a dream. So it's kind of a stalemate.
There are a lot of college and high school athletes who have lost this entire season because of this coronavirus outbreak. What impact does that have on them who are looking for the season to potentially propel them to the next level?
So for me, I haven't actually spoken to too many high school guys just from being so far disconnected. But there is a few guys that played with me on Team Israel for the Olympic qualifiers that were college players. And the one thing that I think has really been brought up for them is, yes, the NCAA is going to extend their eligibility for 1 year. But let's just say you were a senior at, I don't know, Yale, anywhere else, right? Are you going to pass up the opportunity to transition into a job, to return to college, to play for another, just for 1 more year? That's all you're going to have. So your dream was cut short. You don't have the potential to play in the College World Series. You don't have the potential to finish your senior year. And then it comes down to, for the love of the game or for your future. And I think that's a terrible decision that they're going to have to come down to make. And if it was me, I honestly don't know what I would make. If I had, thankfully the parents that I had growing up were very, very supportive and allowing me to live at home and stay out of trouble, those things. But some people might not be as fortunate and have to be forced into their hand to basically retire from baseball before they even have the opportunity. And one thing I actually read yesterday, I don't know, how serious it was, but I was reading that Major League Baseball may basically cancel the draft. So does that, make a difference in colleges, seniors coming back that could potentially be drafted? Is there going to be a free agent class? There's just so many questions that are surrounding Major League Baseball. And it comes down to money. The only reason you cancel the draft is to save funds for the year that would be out of it. So I don't know. It's just a tough situation for those guys.
Yeah, what advice do you have for someone in that position that is obviously facing an unprecedented type of situation here?
So one thing I learned in baseball, and I wish I would have learned it earlier in life, was only worry about things you can control. I know everyone has probably heard that in different facets of life, but it actually is true. It's one of those things where I had a really bad year because I was worrying about the guy in AA, and it ended up ruining my year. And the next year I figured it out, and it didn't matter. So at the end of the day, it's the work ethic you can put in, the positive attitude. I know sometimes it sounds very fortune cookie-esque to say, like, light at the end of the tunnel. But in reality, I'm a big believer in life is what you make it. So if you really, really, really believe in yourself, you believe in the people around you, and you have faith that it will put you in the right decision there you go, there's some lights. The right situation to succeed in life, I think those are things that are really almost, they're teachable, but you really have to believe in it for it to prevail.
Nick, we are hearing some potential start dates. MLB looking for mid-May. Obviously, MLS coming out today as well, saying that they're going to try to start for May 10th. Do you think that's a little optimistic, or is that a realistic possibility with the situation?
I think it could be optimistic. At the end of the day, it all comes down to health, and I actually now sort of work in healthcare, so a lot of people that aren't really addressed into sports. I understand the thought process of sporting events not being super important, but at the end of the day, you know, people that play sports for a living is the same as if you were a doctor, is the same as if you worked at a car dealership or anywhere else. You're doing something to provide for yourself and your family. So for the sake of people's jobs, I really hope that this gets resolved soon and we can continue putting our feet up on the weeknights and watching some baseball.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that moment when we can have baseball back in our lives. Guys, thank you so much. That conversation was very, very good.